100%. And the quote that comes to my mind, and I always think it's so cute, is that if babies fell the 5th time, the 10th time, and they gave up, we would have world of crawling people because nobody would be like, nah, I can't walk, give it up. And we do it as babies. We fall a million times and then we get up, right?
That's right.
I love the
Honestly,
visual.
the source of all wisdom.
Yeah.
Like if they show up as ballerinas, they can't dance to save themselves, but they're gonna pretend to be a ballerina. They're gonna run a business. They're gonna
They're gonna walk. They're gonna walk, damn it.
So
I
cool.
love it.
And we all have
Oh
a
my
baby
God.
inside of us.
Yes, we do.
Figuratively, our little girls are in there.
Yes.
Wanting to
Yes.
teach us. It's okay to fall.
Real women, real lives, real stories. This is the Ladies in Power podcast. Unfiltered, unscripted, and refreshingly authentic. We're not holding back, and maybe after this, neither will you. Let's go.
Welcome to the Ladies in Power podcast. My name is Mika Casey.
I'm Sabit Batha.
Dr. Soraya.
Govinder Doll.
And we are today talking about confidence, the myths about confidence, what it really takes to be confident, and everything confidence. Who wants to go first?
I would like to go first.
Great.
Okay.
Only because I just saw something that I sent to my kids. It was a clip by the famous British actor, the one that Hannibal. What was his name?
Hannibal Lecter?
Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins. He's amazing. Best actor ever. And he said, fake it, fake it, fake it. Believe in yourself. Have confidence. Believe that you can do something until it comes true. So he was saying, even if you believe that you're not confident, pretend like you're confident. Pretend that you have it. And I think that's really amazing, especially coming from a great actor like him. He's been in so many great movies, and you kind of look at him and he just exudes that confidence. He exudes being an awesome personality on TV. And if he's saying fake it until you make it, then the rest of us should definitely fake it until we make it, because I don't think you're born with confidence. Okay, no. I want to change that. I believe we're born with confidence. Somewhere somebody poo-poos on us.
Yeah.
And that confidence is gone away. Like, you're a ballerina, you pretend you're a ballerina, you're on your tiptoes, you're just doing all your thing, and somebody says, that's not a ballerina, and then boop, deflation, and then you gotta somehow gain it all back again. And I think that gaining back is gonna be where he's talking about fake it until you make it. That's my 2 pieces.
My question always, because I always want to understand what our baseline is. So I kind of want to know, how do each of us define confidence?
Oh, yeah.
So that we can kind of play around with that and see what does confidence mean to each of us? How would you define someone who's confident?
That's a great question.
It is really a really good
Lead us in.
question.
Confidence would be, for me, someone who owns who they are. And what you just shared about, a little child, a little ballerina, she's so free to be what she wants to be. And I think for me, when someone walks in a room, or I walk in a room, and I own who I am in that space, it doesn't matter what the space is, but I know who I am, and I don't feel like I need to change to match whatever is going on in that room. I would say that's a type of confidence. There's probably many types of confidence too, but that's the one that really would be center stage for me. What do you guys think?
That's actually really good.
Yeah.
That is actually
Yeah.
so good.
I would have to completely agree with that.
For me, confidence is like when someone walks into the room and they just the way they carry themselves. It's like all eyes on her, you know, the way she smiles, the way she interacts with people or he, and the way that it's like you say, they don't care. They're just being themselves, but at the same time, they're commanding attention. It could be in a quiet way, but you kind of look at them and you go, wow. It could be the way that they're dressed. Actually, we took a trip to Sicily just lately. And the people in Italy dress so well. And we had 3 drivers that drove us around, and every single driver, the way they dressed, their pants, their little suits, so tightly like built to them, their little cravats, their bracelets, and they matched it to their outfits. I think for me, a lot of confidence comes from clothing, at least for me.
Yeah.
And I looked at these men and I went, wow. And they weren't in a position of power. It wasn't like they were, I don't know, in an embassy or doctors or lawyers. They were just doing their job that they do every day, which is drive passengers, but they looked so good doing it. And it was just impressive to look at them. So that's part of confidence for me, and how people speak, public speaking. That's why, when you listen to someone on TikTok, you go, wow. How their tone of their voice, they don't go which is something that something that they teach us when you take any speaking, any courses, like any Toastmaster courses. And it's a combination of how you talk, how you carry yourself, how you dress, and how you command attention.
Love that.
And I think it takes time for that to come. Like, I love the fake it till you make it. And it reminded me of our previous podcast where you had talked about being in the UK and the headmaster just dogging on you. And then when you came to Canada, you're like, nobody knows me. What if I just pretend I'm smart? And look what happened.
Yeah.
But the thing was, it was already in you. I think we have all the components in us, but like you said, someone just hammers it out. And I think going through different cycles and periods in our life, I think we are like, you know what? I think I'm gonna try that, and I'm gonna try on these. I'm gonna do clothes first. I'm gonna learn how to really figure out what looks good on me, and then maybe makeup's next. You know, maybe I'll figure out how to do hair and makeup, because it goes together. Hair and makeup. Maybe we'll do hair and makeup, and then after we've done the outside, we can start learning what to do for the inside. So I think confidence comes in stages, and it doesn't all have to come at once, but we do have to work on it.
It's like a muscle, is what you're saying.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah.
That's an interesting perspective. So you're saying you're born with it, but somebody poo-poos on it.
Yeah.
And you're saying that you can build your confidence in stages.
Yes.
Yeah. That's cool. How about you, Mika?
Yeah, confidence, I believe, is coming from experience. When we get really good at something, we're confident. If we've failed enough times, I think that we fail to confidence. I really do. You think about a baby learning how to walk, and the moment that they're confident, then they're running. And you're confident until you fall. And then you're a little bit hesitant, and then the confidence comes back up again. If I think about my career in acting or singing, I mean, the first time I ever sang on stage was Grease. I was playing Sandra Dee in a high school play. If I even go back to the audition and the fear in the audition,
Oh my gosh.
and then the fear in the practice, but 6 months of practice after school, whatever, it built the confidence that on show night, of course, we were all nervous. However, we had practiced so many times that we knew we were going to be good. Had I just jumped on stage without rehearsing, I'd be terrified. And I think about that with our podcast, with nutrition, cooking a a new meal the first time. It's looking at every ingredient, measuring twice, double checking the dates. I check the stove 3 or 4 times, make sure that everything is, because I'm nervous the first time around.
Mhm.
And the more I make that dish, then I'm like a little bit of this, a handful of that. Oh, it's good enough. I'll keep stirring.
Yeah.
I really believe that confidence comes from that experience. And whether it's being on stage as a speaker, the same thing. I remember the first time I was ever on stage as a speaker, and I had, oh my gosh, just this, like 3 years ago was the first time I took the stage after a 10-year hiatus, pretty much, in front of a crowd that wasn't mine. I'd been invited to come as a guest speaker, and I was terrified. I was so honored and terrified. And I had all over my house paperwork all over the windows, all over my mirrors, in my car, on the living room, the sofa. I used my pillows on the sofa with pictures on them of faces that I had hand drawn on paper. So I practiced speaking to the pillows. And then I had in the background on these big flip charts what my points were and what stories I was going to tell and what order I was going to tell them, because I knew I would be terrified as soon as I got onto the stage. I didn't know. I thought maybe I would be terrified. And I practiced as much as I could so that it would be that muscle that you talked about, Gurvinder, the muscle memory would kick in and I wouldn't be as nervous. And then speaking to pros about it, like speak to one person in the audience versus looking at everybody if it intimidates you. That quote about pretending that everybody's naked if you're nervous.
yeah.
And I mean, these little things really work.
Yeah.
And it takes that practice. It takes research. It takes preparation. So I believe confidence comes from preparation and practice. The first time I walked a runway, I was not confident. And now I had a fashion show at my house a couple of weeks ago. Shout out to Erin, spreadmoreloveandjoy.com, and her beautiful clothing line. And I was teaching the 15 women in my living room how to walk a runway, how to put a jacket on, how to take it off, how to turn. I mean, I haven't walked a runway in 20 years. It's just there. So I think the confidence comes from all that practice. And people will say to you, it looks so easy. Oh, you make it look so easy. You're such a natural. No, I'm not. I was speaking to pillows, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
After speaking to thousands of people in the audience over a decade ago, I was still really nervous about getting back on the stage. So I really believe it comes from that experience and practice.
That's a really good point. Like practicing until it comes almost naturally, practicing to the point that you don't even have to think about it. I mean, actors, you're right. Actors do it, singers do it, the TED talkers do it. But even then, some people can practice all they want and still it doesn't exude that confidence.
This is true.
Right? Some people can go through the way they carry themselves. Like I think Tony Robbins talks about that. If you're walking with your, shoulders all hunched down and your gaze is to the floor and you're kind of timidly saying something, just even talking so that like you're not, you know what you're talking about. People will listen, even though it's total garbage. And I don't want to name any names, but there's one man out there that just garbage spews out of him. But it's just the way that confidently he delivers his bullshit. And you're like, well, maybe I'm wrong. People buy it. So one thing, it could be your posture. It could be the way we're carrying ourselves. It could be the way we're even breathing, or the way we're casting our eyes to the ground or high up, or looking at somebody in the eye.
True.
And looking somebody in the eye is tough. I think for women, were you never told not to look people in the eyes by your moms?
No.
Is that just me?
I got
No.
in trouble, which was so rare. There would be this thing about put your eyes down. And it was such a funny thing because then it'd be like, look at me when I'm talking to you. Put your eyes down. Look at me when I'm talking. And I would just find that really funny. Like, what do I do? What do I do? But I have no difficulty making eye contact with people.
Yeah.
I love eye contact. And what's interesting is when someone cannot reciprocate the eye contact. And it always kind of makes me wonder, like, am I doing it too much? Like, am I overly enjoying the eye contact? But It's interesting, like people that can hold eye contact or not. Is that a sign of confidence? And what I'm also hearing amongst our definition as we perceive them of confidence is that there's an internal component to it
Mhm.
as well as an external component. How we present ourselves, um, is that reflective of how we feel about ourselves on the inside? Or is it repetition and skill development? Because I would see that as more external, but requiring some sort of persistence within us to carry on, even though the first time we did something, it was so nerve wracking and fear inducing.
Bob Proctor talks about, and I hope I get this right, what you focus on is what you feel, and what you feel is how you act, which creates your results. So I believe that it starts with a feeling, or even first a thought, which could lead to a feeling, which could lead to an action, which could lead to a result. And it's getting back to what you were saying, making a decision that I'm going to become confident in this area. This is an area that I lack confidence, and I'm not going to hold that as my identity forever, that I'm going to be not confident in that area, because that will lead to all kinds of things. It leads to people saying, "Oh, you're going to be okay. You're going to be great." And that need for constant reassurance, it can be a way of receiving love. It can be a way of receiving attention, and have nothing to do with lacking confidence. You could be applauded with love for that lack of confidence. So then where's the goal to have the confidence? If the moment you become confident, then people can sometimes go from cheering for you to jealous of you.
Yeah.
And there's that whole area there of, because when you have confidence, and we all have confidence in many areas of our lives, and we have areas where we're not confident because we haven't practiced in that area, it can lead to a myriad of different emotions. I mean, that was a couple of different things that were flowing through me.
Yes, and along those lines, it is very internal. I had a client who refused to tell her roommate to leave and just wouldn't do it. Just would not do it. So we had to build her confidence. We went through many tapping sessions, and where she got to the point where she started finally articulating it. So we had to dig deep and find out exactly why she refused to talk to this roommate. And it took a number of months. There were a lot of weeds that we pulled out. And after pulling out those weeds, she finally saw exactly what was happening in her life. It came as a boulder to her front door. That's how it came. That's how she realized it when she was ready to let go. And then she finally spoke to the roommate and said, "This is not working for me. And these are the reasons why I think that it is time for us to separate." So confidence comes from the inside, and it comes from how we were raised, what was going on around us, and who said what to you, especially those years, perinatal, all the way up to around 7, 8 years old. And so it starts. It starts the confidence, because you're looking around at your family. You're interacting with all these people. Everyone is telling you something different on who you are. And by the time we're teenagers or adults, they kind of framed us. They kind of framed our confidence. And so I have clients coming in, and we're tapping through everything. We're going into generational work too, and we're finding out who said what and why you chose to believe it. And then we're letting it all go, getting back down to that beautiful, beautiful neutral charge where they can start vocalizing. So confidence is also speaking up. And that's what that's what we were working on, speaking up, confident enough to speak to someone.
Would you say it's also speaking your truth?
And speaking your truth.
Speaking your truth.
Yes.
Yeah. When you talked about the boulder arriving, and we said, that was the moment where she was able to let go. What are some examples, and this doesn't have to be particular to this client of yours, but what are some examples of things one would need to let go in order for that confidence or that truth within you to be able to rise?
She was a people pleaser. She just wanted to, and she wanted to keep peace. But when I have clients that want to keep peace, it's one of their fight flight responses that they're just fawning. They're just like, no, it's okay. I'll do this. I just want to, they like to appease someone. And so then I have to dig deeper and find out what are you appeasing? Who made you feel like this? And so we went through our sessions, we found out that there were pebbles, and then there were stones, and then there were rocks that were coming to her over the years.
Yeah.
And finally, this boulder landed where she couldn't ignore that she had to speak. She had to speak her truth now.
The boulder being the current situation.
Boulder being the
Gotcha.
current situation.
Okay.
And it took a while because sometimes people don't want to look at what's going on in their lives. They don't want to address the thing that is actually going on.
Or they're getting rewarded for what is going on.
Yeah.
They're being rewarded somehow. I'm getting, like, coming back to, I'm getting all this attention from everybody. I get to justify that this happens. I get to justify that happens.
Yes.
There's usually fuel to that fire.
Yes.
That keeps people burning.
Yes. Secondary gain. We call it secondary gain, where if they changed it, who would they be without it?
Yeah, loss of identity.
Yeah. Who would we be without it?
Yeah, a lot of contributing factors to having the confidence to speak up or speak out or change. I like what you said about childhood. I think about my childhood, and there was always so much going on, which really gave me the confidence to do anything. Because if I failed,
Didn't matter.
who cares? If I succeeded, who cares? So it was never about the reward from anybody else.
Yeah.
It was about me feeling good about me, or me. And I say that to my Ladies in Power mastermind. It's always you against you. It's not about your parents loving you any more, any less. It's not about your kids. It's not about your spouse. It's not about your boss. It's about you looking yourself in the mirror and saying, I'm afraid to do this. I'm going to do it anyway. Look at some of the areas of your life that you have confidence in and steal from those moments, borrow from those moments. Look at how you fell forward until you became confident in that area, whether it's dentistry or dietitian or tapping. There's a beginning in your career where, am I doing this right? Let me check my notes. Oh my gosh, I hope I did that right. That's normal. So borrow from those experiences when you're trying something new to remind yourself how freaking fantastic you are, how capable you are, how you're God's highest form of creation, and you can do, have anything that you want. And the only person getting in the way is you. And be willing to look at the reward, because there's always a reward to staying the same.
That's
Or
right.
small,
Yes.
like playing it
Yeah.
small.
There's the
Yeah.
familiarity, the comfort of being in the same space all the time. And when we talk about childhood, what I think about is I feel confidence just sort of through osmosis just entered my being, because I think about my parents, and both of them, like almost equally, have always been super real, authentic, especially my dad in certain ways where he would not quiet his tone down. He loved to be a contrarian. He was just always looking for a great discussion, conversation. And if my mom annoyed him in front of company, he just let her have it.
Oh my
Whole way that it wasn't serious, but he was real. And my mom would be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe he does this in front of people." But I think people respected him all the more. And then my mom, in her own way, also very authentic. So it didn't matter what room she's in, she is going to be herself. And I remember as a little girl, my mom's doesn't talk a lot. Now she'll say she talks a lot. But when I was a little girl, she was fairly quiet and reserved. But we'd be sitting in a room full of adults. It's a late night party and people are telling jokes. And she would just say a joke And it was just the delivery. And just because it was her and it was natural, that room would just erupt. Erupt. And
Oh
people
my
were always,
God.
and I remember thinking, she's so cool because she's
Yeah.
not having to be anything other than herself.
Yeah.
And I believe that confidence it came within me because I learned from them. And this is why it's so interesting to know what your definitions of confidence are.
Confidence is
Because for me, it's, yes, absolutely skill building, repetition, and learning something and getting over those fears, getting over yourself. But for me, it's also, I just can't help, believing that it's so much about, are you true to yourself? So in that voice that you're going to speak up with, are you going to present as yourself, or are you trying to take on somebody else's persona, but it doesn't match you and it doesn't fit you? And so that may not be the right fit, but you're going to learn. So you will gain confidence over a period of time. But I would say from childhood, I'm very blessed to have parents that were just so truthful in who they were. And how they presented themselves in public was exactly how they were in private.
Right.
So, and sometimes the way they presented themselves in public was actually not as good as the way they were at home, which is often the opposite. But they were just super real. And I never appreciated that until I was much, much older. Just that authenticity and growing up in that space. So I really attribute a lot of my internal confidence to what I saw around me as a child and what was emulated from my parents.
It's interesting that you said, thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
Because we have the decision to look at it that way or look at it the other way.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, my parents were so authentic. It was so embarrassing. And I'm this way because we have an opportunity to change the story, change your life, as Tony Robbins says. You're looking at it with this beautiful lens, which has given you confidence and this beautiful story that you've just shared. And yet I can only imagine someone out there listening and saying, oh yeah, easy for you. My parents did that. And this is what it did to me, being it did to me versus for me.
Right.
And that comes back to the decision of, am I going to make the decision to live with confidence, or am I going to stay in the story that's getting me the attention and I get to stay home on my couch? I don't speak up because I'm afraid, and that's just who I am. And then there's so many different ways to look at it.
Absolutely.
And I'm so grateful for you sharing that in that way, because for our audience, for our listeners, please be willing to hear this. Be willing to let some of our conversation shake you to your core, because it's delivered with love and with respect and admiration. And it's given with the desire to inspire you to go to the next level of your life, as we do for each other. Before and after our conversations with you, we are talking about these conversations that we have and how we're changing each other's lives through stories. So not to ever demean you or belittle you, or with love, let us challenge you a little bit, because if the way that you're thinking is not serving you, then maybe it's a sign to make that 2 millimeter shift. If it's serving you in a way that brings you joy and love and prosperity, and I say this to all of us who might be stuck in a story somewhere, be really willing to be authentic and to look within and say, okay, maybe this roommate has served me for a period of time. I'm so grateful that I had this roommate, because it's given me the opportunity to recognize that here's an area of my life that I want to shift. Not necessarily improve. I want to change it. I want to shift it. I want to be a different version of myself so I can handle this situation different. And all those things take confidence.
And what I
Well
love
said.
about what you said is about childhood, it's mirror neurons. So what happens is we mirror the way our parents are, not what our parents say, but who our parents are. We start mirroring every single person around us, especially our parents. Es- Especially, again, those young ages, 0 to 7. We just repeat how they behave. So when parents come and want to have a deeper relationship with their parents, with their children, it's about not it's about changing you first. So if the parents want to change something that's change a dynamic in the family, it's about changing them first, because the kids will just copy. The kids will say, "Oh, mom and dad are doing this, so they automatically start behaving that way too." It is super, super, super cool to watch. And that's exactly what happened to you. They exuded that confidence, and it just permeated right down to you.
It did. And now I'm learning that it was also a choice to see it that way, which is really cool to kind of recognize.
Yeah.
And I'm always about like visual examples. And I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I'm so loving. Do you have an example that comes to mind where a parent may be struggling with a certain dynamic and they take ownership and say, let me see if I can move towards myself. And if it doesn't come to you, that's okay too. I'm just curious if when you were speaking, you were thinking of a particular example.
Well, I'll talk about me first.
Okay.
So I noticed that when my 2-year-old, a decade ago, was screaming constantly, and she's my fourth, I knew what to do. And with her, I didn't. I just did not know what to do. And I had received an email regarding tapping from Dr. McCullough. And I'm like, okay, fine. I'll just memorize this tapping thing. And I used it on her, and she just went quiet. And unfortunately, I did see the change in her, and I was using it on them, but it took me years later to start really using tapping on myself. And what I noticed in our household is the more I took care of me, the more I calmed my nervous system down. I took the overwhelm out. I took the lack of confidence out. I really, really worked on me. And I didn't do anything different with my children. The children just, I don't want to say lined up, but they lined up. The kids just lined up. And it's so amazing to watch. And this is the same when I work with families, with moms. I work mostly with moms. And we're just working on themselves. And when they change, their children change. When they change, their children change. The whole family dynamic completely changes because that one core person works on
Changes.
themselves, lets go of whatever fear, like whatever nervous response is harboring inside of them. And we let it go. And the kids step in line because mom has. And it's super, 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 super fun to watch.
And for those without kids, it's the same with dogs.
Yes.
And cats
It's 100%.
Well, and horses.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
often more so because they are so connected energetically to source without the cockamamie stories that we learn as children and adults, and they're so influenced by the energy. And an animal is looking for confidence. If a dog is off leash and running and they're not coming back to you, you're not the alpha in the relationship. The alpha is the confident one, the one that takes the role of, I'm going to keep you safe. I'm the boss. I'm going to give you certainty. Another example, if you think about, there's heaven forbid, a natural disaster. People will look for the one with the most confidence in the room that says, we're okay. I've got this. There's an exit over here. There's a fire thing over there. Everybody, whatever, keep your arms and legs tucked in the vehicle and follow this way. There's somebody in the room that is going to give certainty to the entire environment, that is going to help everybody to get calm, get peaceful, get grounded, and then be able to actually think, because we don't think when we're in a state of chaos.
Yes.
We're not thinking clearly. And there's so much reward and benefit for all the people in your environment when you work hard on fulfilling confidence in an area. Everyone is looking for that certainty, except for the odd adventurer like myself who's looking for a little chaos. However, I do take pleasure in creating certainty for people when they need it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's we don't have enough. We could also call confidence leadership. We can call it certainty. We can call it, there's so many different names for it. I believe that they're all very similar. And the person with the most confidence has the most influence usually, as long as it's coming with confidence, not arrogance. There's a line there. But we're all looking for safety in different situations.
That's right.
Guidance, someone to say, over here, 9 o'clock, be here. We're wearing burgundy to thank God for Sandeep, who helps us, like keeps us in our colors. And because we're looking for what color we wear, there's a little, Sandeep, burgundy. So you give us a confidence. And then we're like, oh, okay, great. What earrings do I have? What necklace do I have? What am I going to do with my nails today?
I love that.
There's confidence shows up in so many different ways. And it's I sound like a
love
broken
that so
record, but
much.
it's a decision. Again.
Yeah.
Yes.
And to step into your knowing. So if I know the color and what we're wearing, I should just be able to speak it confidently and say, this is my suggestion. Feel free to, say no, yes, which often happens. Or not often, but once in a blue moon. And that's okay too, because that's someone speaking with their confidence. And oh my gosh, today I don't
Or
know.
lack of color in their wardrobe.
Or lack of color. Thanks, Mom, for supplying mine often. But I'm just so full of questions today. Is it okay if I ask another?
Yes, go ahead.
I'm just really curious as to something you feel tremendous confidence in your life that you want to share. You're proud of it, or you worked at it, or it's something that you are. I'm so curious if anyone has anything leadership for you. Yeah,
100%.
yeah. And how does that show up? And how did you get to that point?
It depends on the room.
Yeah.
I always know what to do. It's assessing the situation. Am I leading from behind? Am I leading from the front? Because a great leader knows when to follow as well.
That's a good one.
Navigate all
Yeah.
the ego in the room, navigate different belief systems, navigate different wealth systems. There are so many things to consider when leading. And I believe that one of the gifts that came from my extraordinary childhood of diversity and play, it gave me confidence to fit into any environment
Nice.
and lead.
Yeah. How about you, Mowgli's?
I just have a major question that all this time I've been like, I don't understand. I don't understand. I mean, a lot of the talk comes from being authentic,
Yes.
right? And, you were just saying your parents were authentic. Like, what does that even mean? Like, for example, if your mom is funny, she's funny, right? She's going to go to the party and be funny. How else would she be? Like, what does authentic even mean?
Pretend.
Like,
Pretend to be quiet when you're normally outspoken.
why would you do
Or
that?
pretend to fit in.
For me, because I describe you to people that don't know you as one of my most authentic friends.
Yep.
It makes sense that you wouldn't understand.
Yep.
Because you don't know how to be anything but authentic.
Yep.
It is one of the first things that drew me to you. Was you live life on your terms?
It just boggles your mind.
Yeah. It is so sweet.
So you're
So
saying
sweet.
somebody will go somewhere and pretend that, for example, they're quiet when they're not. What would they gain?
Like,
from
I mean,
that?
wearing, and I'm guilty of it sometimes. I've got a pair of sunglasses that have a brand on them that my girlfriend got me from China.
Okay.
They're not $3,000.
So
They were $30.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah,
You
but
saved
it's not-
$2,900.
It's not authentic. I'm wearing them with the illusion that they are real. And it's not good, bad, or right or wrong. It's just that's an example that I could come up with that is
Okay, I do that all the time. I don't think that's unauthentic. Like, if I can buy something from China that looks exactly the same and I saved all that money, hell yes.
Yes.
And I mean, if you ask me, I'm going to tell you, look what I saved. This is what I got. And sometimes I may not. I may just say, yeah, I got money. But I don't think that's unauthentic. But for somebody to go out there and say, be loud when they go home and they're super quiet, or I don't even know what, like I say, I just can't understand.
Definition.
Yeah, what is.
Something that I'm confident in. I think I can walk into, I'm excited to walk into rooms where there's lots of unknown, where there's unknown people. I never research like the menu on a restaurant. I never need to know who's going to be at a party. I never need to know whether I'll know somebody at a party. I feel this is one of many. I'm confident in a lot of different ways, and there's many ways that I'm working on. So it's all good. But I will walk into any room filled with 100 people, 10 people, and know that I'm going to leave feeling really good. Not necessarily because I met people that, really meshed with. I just know myself. And if I don't feel a connection to people in a room, it's still okay because I will enjoy watching the dynamic. I will enjoy just the space that I'm in. So there's a confidence, I believe, in that, in knowing that I know myself. So what I'm saying is I take responsibility to say, I'm going to have a great night. If I've chosen to show up here, it's going to be a great night.
Oh,
And
there.
so, yeah, so for me, it's like I find I love that I don't need to know who's in a room. I don't need to be planning ahead. I can just trust myself to show up and meet really interesting people or find something very interesting in the people that I meet.
But if you were going to be unauthentic, what would that look like?
An example I'll give you recently is I went, well, it doesn't even matter. It was a recent trip where who I was going with, friends I was going with are very fashion oriented and very savvy in the fashion world. And
Were you there?
Nobody invited me.
Next time. And I can't imagine pretending to know about fashion when I don't.
Okay.
So what I instead did, because I'm going on this trip, I'm not super, fashion savvy, fashion oriented, is that I just said, hey, you know what? I don't really know anything about the brands we're going to be checking out, but I'd love an education from you because you know what you're doing. And I'm just going to take in and soak in all this new knowledge, which maybe I'll never, ever apply in my life. But just the fact that I get to have a perspective stretched and go into a world that I don't normally enter and have somebody who's done so much since they were a child that just research and read and just, their whole body just embodies fashion. How wonderful for me to step into these spaces just to soak it all in and learn about why is this a fashion house like this? Who's the fashion designer? How did they handle their empire? It was fascinating. I loved every second of it. It didn't mean I needed to, go and buy those things.
No.
It didn't mean that I felt less than because I don't know. Not at all. So that's an example how I could have pretended.
Okay.
Oh yes, I know all about,
Okay. Okay. Now I understand. Yeah,
but
that's
it
a
was very
great
recent, but the
example.
truth is I didn't.
Yeah.
And I decided I just wanted to own that. And the person that did have all the knowledge, I wanted them to be free, to not hold back what they know in order for my comfort to be,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
So by giving them permission to say, please, please, please share. I really want to learn about, everything you have to share. It allowed her to just, oh my gosh, she just opened up and was just chatting as, okay, if I share this with you, I'm like, yes, yes, yes. And so it was such a wonderful experience, I think, for the two parties.
Yes.
The really, knowledgeable one in that area and the one that had no knowledge. So we both had a blast because she got to teach, I got to learn, and we were both enjoying the element that we were in. So that's an example where I think I could have been inauthentic if I wanted to. But why?
But if you did have absolutely no interest in fashion, would you tell her, talk to the hand?
No, I wouldn't. You know why? Because I don't have an interest in fashion. I really don't, to that level. But why wouldn't I want to learn from her? Like, why wouldn't I? I'm there on this trip and we are venturing into these spaces. So why wouldn't I? Like, I just don't understand.
Oh my God, I worship this woman.
Stop.
I do. Okay, I'm just going to stop and tell everybody what I did. because I was
Yeah.
in this place,
Yeah.
and of course, I was just sharing that we had gone on a trip, and this guy went on and on and on about the history of his family because we were in this little palace thing, and I'm sure it meant a lot to him, and I feel really bad about it. He was blabbing on, and I just walked right off. I just walked right off with my little camera, taking pictures of people and trees, and the look of shock on Alex's face is like the man is talking, but I had zero interest.
What's more authentic
Yeah.
than you
Yeah.
Exactly.
choosing what interests you and walking away from? I think that's the most authentic, confident thing
Confident. It takes
a person can
confidence to.
do.
Yes.
You're not
But
looking to fit
you-
in. You're not
but-
looking
but
to
she
belong.
was-
You're
But
not
my
looking to be
intention
liked.
was very different. My intention was to go on this trip for this purpose.
Okay.
So I committed to that with that
Okay.
intention. And
I just
it's
walked
so
away.
different. They're
Beautiful.
two- Yeah, it's
So
totally
beautiful.
different. And you
So
walking
beautiful.
away, I love. Like
Okay.
that's the stuff I want to always say. I want to be more like her because she just, she's true, so true to herself.
Yeah.
It is absolutely one of my favorite qualities that drew me to you. Was maybe she'll rub
Thank
off on
you.
a little bit more.
Yes, exactly.
I'm sure the poor guide must have thought, bitch. Where is she going? No, but I did
That's the
feel a
beauty.
little bit sad at the end for him because he was so into this.
Or he got
And-
to be with a group of people that
Yeah.
really, really wanted to absorb his
Yeah.
knowledge, and maybe
Yes.
your energy would have gotten in the way of that.
Yes.
So you
Mhm.
So I
that
just
energy.
removed
did the right thing.
myself.
Yeah,
I removed
exactly.
myself.
How about you, Gravinder? Anything that you feel?
I feel confident in being an energy psychology practitioner. Uh, talked to me 5 years ago, and I was tepid seeing clients and just learning everything, and I was learning. I was a student. Now I see clients and I know exactly where they want to go because they let me know, and I know the different roads, the different highways to take them there. I totally, totally, totally love what I do, and I enjoy watching clients move from one space to another and the one that they want to be in. That's what I truly, truly love. I love watching them move from who they were to who they are and who they want to become. Just love it. It brings me immense joy. And even if they don't move, it still brings me so much joy that they're trying, and that they're in it.
Where does the confidence come from?
I think I was born a healer.
And you're good at it. I've had sessions with you. She's really good at it. You make people feel calm.
Thank you. I think I was born with it. So, but over the years, I ignored it, and over the years, because of being because of being different practitioners, having all these certifications, I built my confidence up. So I looked at the box again, and I thought to myself, maybe, and then I just did it. So I think it's always been within me. I think I've always been a healer. Yes.
So there was the belief and also the fact that you worked at it, like Miko was saying. It was practice.
It was practice.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
practice that you practiced on patients and
Yes.
you kind of felt them out so that you knew how to interact with everyone based on where they were.
Exactly.
It reminds me of the quote that leaders are not born, leaders are made. And I hear so many people in my world challenge that statement and say, easy for you to say, you were born a leader. And I'm like, you're not hearing what I'm saying. I believe leaders are created. I really do, because I've seen it happen. I've seen people from my childhood. I've seen people in my own family go from insecure, lacking confidence, not knowing how to show up, to move, I'll handle it. And it's beautiful to witness. And I also want to give that opportunity for our listeners to know that the excuse that I wasn't born a leader is an excuse, in my opinion, which means, yay, if you don't see yourself as a leader yet and you want to be one, we're all leaders in some area of our life. We get out of bed, we brush our teeth, we wash our face, we shower. That's leadership. How do you define leadership is up to you. And I know we're talking about confidence. I just feel that they work so hand in hand.
Yes.
And that you can live with the excuse or the reason all your life that I'm not confident or I'm not a leader, or you can live with the opportunity, the knowing that, oh my gosh, I can have anything I want. And I'm going to learn how to be a leader in this area. I'm going to strengthen my confidence in this area. Because think of who in your life benefits from you strengthening confidence.
Everyone.
And who suffers or feels the pain in your life when you don't step into your confidence in an area? Everyone. There's a ripple effect that happens. We have one life. We're given one life that we know of in this human form on this earth in the greatest time in history. And to recognize that we can develop any skill is just extraordinary. I cannot imagine being in a state where you would think that you couldn't develop confidence in an area or you couldn't develop leadership because it's something you had to be born with. I believe, yes, there are people that are born with skills, 100%. I've seen 4-year-olds play there's our alarm.
We're not ready. We're not ready.
We're not ready. We're not ready.
We're never ready. We're never ready.
On. Oh my gosh. I believe that, there are 4-year-olds that can play the piano like
Yes.
Mozart. There definitely are the exception to the rule. However, and I believe that to live a life knowing that it's possible for you to develop anything is a superior way to think than I wasn't born with it, so I'm not going to bother, because it influences and it impacts everyone in your life, from your kids to your dogs to your neighbors, your boss, your intimate ones, your family. Everybody is affected and sometimes infected by choices that we make.
Well said.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
exactly.
really well
It
done.
sounds like we would agree that if you're feeling not very confident in a particular area, maybe you don't feel confident about your public speaking or how you shake hands or how you organize a social get together, it sounds like the best thing to do is know that there's a possibility for excellence in that, or even to improve in that, even to gain confidence in that. And it's just a matter of stepping in. Yeah, and knowing you're not going to be great the first time you do something.
my
And
gosh.
that's A-okay. But we shouldn't let the fear of being terrible at something stop us.
Amen.
We shouldn't, because we are cheating everyone around us
Oh, yes.
from the potential of what we could become if we just continue to step in and step in and step in. And that is one of the biggest things I think listeners and viewers, well, I will speak for myself, because I believe that is one of the biggest hindrance to people reaching their highest potential, is just that wall of fear about, I'm not going to be good when I try this. Of course you're not. I agree. You're not going to be good at it. You may be good at it and you might surprise yourself, but the odds are, you're not going to be that great at it. But that's okay, because the story that unfolds is you are going to look back and say, wow, have I ever come far in this realm? Look at me now. But you had to have started. And it's the starting. If that's the one message I would like to leave our podcast with, is just start.
Yeah.
Knowing that it doesn't have to be how you envision it to be at the end of your journey. Right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot
I
of
agree.
fun in that process.
100%. And the quote that comes to my mind, and I always think it's so cute, is that if babies fell the 5th time, the 10th time, and they gave up, we would have a world of crawling people, because nobody would be like, nah, I can't walk, give it up. And we do it as babies. We fall
Oh
a
my
million
God.
times and then we
Love
get
it.
up, right?
That's right.
I love the
Or honestly,
visual.
the source of all wisdom.
Yeah.
Like if they show up as ballerinas, they can't dance to save themselves, but they're gonna pretend to be a ballerina. They're
Yeah.
gonna run a business. They're gonna
They're
get
gonna
up
walk.
and laugh.
They're gonna walk, damn it.
So
Oh, I
true.
love it.
And we all have
Oh
a
my
baby
God.
inside of us.
Yes, we do.
Figuratively, our little girls are in there
Yes.
wanting
100%.
to
Yes.
teach us. It's okay to fall.
So true.
Well, ladies,
It was
Aw.
wonderful.
this was wonderful.
If we must.
We
Yes.
must. Until next time.
Until next time.
So,
So,
see you next
See you
time.
next
The views shared on this podcast reflect our personal experiences and opinions. This content is not a substitute for professional advice. Please consult a qualified expert for any medical, legal, or mental health concern. If this conversation spoke to you, please follow the Ladies in Power podcast and leave us a review. Your voice helps more people find this sisterhood and these conversations. Together we rise. And remember, your voice matters here.